Hi guys, it's Alex. Today I'm showing you how to create this cute penguin slider card, and it is fairly simple, just a few steps. So I'm starting off with this Lawn Fawn Winter Penguin stamp set, and I love these little stamp sets. They're just adorable, and also you can get quite a few for the price of one 4x6 stamp set. And I'm gonna stamp this with the versafine onyx black ink. And I love this ink so much. I just recently got it, and it is so crisp, and you can heat emboss it. So, I mean, it's perfect. I don't think you can do Copic coloring with it because it'll bleed. But, I mean, if you heat emboss it, then you can. So, and I am getting Copics soon. So, I'm very excited about that. I used 110-pound paper for this. And I like to heat set things from the back. I feel like I get a much more smooth finish than I do when I do it from the front. I don't know if that's just me, but that's what I do. And now I'm gonna color these in, and it's nothing special, so I'm not gonna show you much. I just use Crayola pencils. I mean, I don't have anything fancy, and they work just fine. I am using Gamsol to blend this. It's an odorless mineral spirits, and it just blends colored pencils really easily, so I love it. And you use a paper stump thing. I don't know what the actual name is for them, but it's what I'm using to blend them. And I'm sorry my hand is in the way, but I'm sure you can understand what I'm doing. And you do want to, you could use the other side, but when you are going from one color to another, so when I finished the pink, I sanded off the tip of it so the pink wouldn't transfer to the black. Or if I was doing the black to the pink, you don't want it to become like a grayish pink because there's black on it. So it's really easy with the Gamsol. And I was with my friends yesterday, and I got a ton of these little animals colored yesterday, so it was great. I can make cards a lot faster now. Once I fussy cut those out, I'm using a black marker. Most of the time you would want to use a brush marker, it's just easier, but I couldn't find mine. But I'm just going around the edges and making them black. It gives it a much cleaner look, and it doesn't show the imperfections from when you cut it out. You can get it's just one die for this set, and so you can get that, and also for the other mini stamp sets. So I'm gonna create the wintry background, and the piece that I am gonna do the ink blending on right now, I created that with my silhouette. I made the shape for the little slider part in Photoshop, and then I just cut it out with my silhouette, and I think you can do 2 or 3 on an 8.5 by 11 paper. I have the portrait, not the cameo, so that's what I didn't need the cameo. I don't do 12 by 12 scrapbooking, So I'm just, I use Memento dewdrops as well as distress inks. I only just got distress inks recently, as well as this blending tool. And the Memento inks actually blend really, really well. I think I heard someone say that they have a similar formula for blending. I can't really remember what they said, sorry. But yeah, they blend really, really well. So the first distress ink I used was tumbled glass, which I really love, and I'm not sure about the Memento ink names, but I used a purple one as well, and I believe that is Seedless Preserves. I will link to all of these below when it's finished. And when I started to do the heat embossing, I messed it up because I didn't dry the distress ink with the heat tool. And I didn't think it actually needed it, and that's why I didn't do it. And the first time I tried to heat emboss it. I didn't use my powder tool either. And that basically takes away any static that may be on the paper. And so, you know, if you're just stamping on a piece of paper, that's fine, but it can't be wet as well. So I messed that up. And then I did the powder tool and I tried to redo it. And it just didn't work because the distress ink was still wet. So I ended up just flipping this on the other side and redoing it. And I actually like how it turned out a lot better because it's not as dark. So I don't really mind that I had to redo it. And I have a scrap piece of paper on my desk, which is what all the colors going on to at the back, under it. So here is my new inked background. And it's not blended as well, I don't think, but I do like it a lot better. It's not as dark. So I heat set it, and now I'm using that powder tool. It comes with like a brush tip, but I feel like I don't get very good coverage. So I just kind of pour some on my card and then use a dry brush. And right now I was just testing that none of the powder was going to stick to it. And I was very happy that it didn't. Sorry for my head here. I am using Versamark ink, and I am using the sentiment that comes with the Penguin stamp set. It says Happy Holidays. And after I stamp each word, I want to pour the powder on it just so I can see where I stamped and make sure I don't stamp over one of the words or something. And after this, I am going to start with the snowflakes, the background for that. Snowy background. There we go. I used both of the snowflakes that come with the Penguin stamp set. And I also end up using the smallest snowflake that comes with the winter alpaca. The smallest snowflake in the Penguin stamp set is the same size as the largest snowflake in the alpaca stamp set, if that makes any sense. And I really like how it turned out using all three of the sizes. The smallest one was really good for just filling in the spaces that were too small for the larger stamp set, the larger snowflakes. So I really like that. And after I do a few of each snowflake, I pour the white embossing powder on it just so I can see where I've already stamped. And here you can see I'm taking the smallest snowflake and just filling in some spaces. And with my last card, I think I heat embossed, the sentiment. And then after, every time I poured embossing powder on it, and that made it warp quite a bit. So I decided that I would do all of this before I heat set it, and I could just do it all at once, and it was a lot better. And also, it being a 110-pound paper, it won't warp as much as, 80-pound or 65-pound. And I think, it's just a couple more, and then it's done, and I heat set it. Again, I'm gonna heat set it from the back, but I do have to kind of do some from the front because it didn't do it too well. Also, I don't know if it's just my heat tool because I don't know how old it is, but when I use it on an inked background like this, there's always a little bit of smoke, and that's probably not good. But if you've ever had that happen and you know the reason, please let me know. I don't know if it's just the ink with the heat or what. I mean, it's always fine when I do it with something else. But yeah, that's been happening. So I'm not sure what to do about that. So I've heat set that, and now, before I did the video, I cut out this piece of foam, and I just put the foam behind the background and used a pencil to kind of trace that slider part, and then I cut it out of the foam, and that just creates a nice dimension, as well as if there is any warping, it flattens that out really well. The hardest thing for me is finding something that I can put the penguin on to make it slide. And for this, I ended up using a couple pieces of paper, I think. And that seemed to work well. I think a lot of people, will use a coin or something. And I just didn't make enough room with the foam to do that. So I was just making sure that the paper would slide. I just doubled up a couple of 110-pound scraps, and that seemed to work. And I thought I was going to use these small square foam dots, but I ended up using my 3M foam just because I couldn't fit 2 of the small dots on the paper, and just using one, I felt the penguin wasn't very secure. So I just covered the paper with the 3M tape, and that worked really well. So you want to put your slider part behind the background and then put your penguin over it, just so the card is basically in between those 2 layers. And so now I'm placing these 2 snow hills, I guess you could call them. I just cut them out with my scissors. It's really easy. You could also use a silhouette if you'd like. I know Lawn Fawn also have dies, but I mean, they're really easy to cut out, so I didn't really want to spend the money on dye if I could just cut it out myself. And I was just having to trim them off a little bit because they were too big, but they're really easy to do, and for me, it finishes the card. I think it's really cute. It makes him look like or I guess her, because it's in pink, like she's skating on, snow or ice. And I was just trimming that off, and I did have to add some extra glue on one of the pieces because when I would slide the penguin back, it would get caught a little bit. So I just used some glossy accents, and I was just testing it out here and saw that it would get caught. So I just used my glossy accents. And I also, sorry, I'm trying to remember when I did things. Okay, yeah, I adhere it to the card first, and then I will finish it off with glossy accents. And I did actually forget part of the card. Under the slider part, there's supposed to be color, but I forgot to add that strip of paper that I did ink blending on. But I mean, to me, it does look okay. It's just more of a finishing touch, and it makes it a bit more professional, I guess. So to finish this off, I just added some glossy accents to the scarf and the ice skates. So that's the card, and I hope you enjoyed. And, if you are trying to save money or, stuff like that, these mini stamp sets are perfect. So here's some photos, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I'll see you later. Bye.